agent tonight, okay, Brandon?
Yeah, it works for me.
And then next time we'll hit Tim. Okay, if everybody's here, let me get my glasses on and let's rock and roll. Okay, you ready? All right, let's get this rolling. We be ready? Are we on? All right, everyone, welcome to the October 8th, 2020 school board meeting of the Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District. We are opening the meeting before we go into closed session. We'll call the meeting to order at 6:33. Roll call, let's run up the food chain, guys. Board members.
Brandon Roque here.
Are these people here?
Kelly Jensen here.
Tim Chair.
Tim.
Is that you, Tim?
Yes.
Crank up your volume, get close to your microphone. Mike.
He's here, but he's muted.
Okay, I've got 4 board members here. Let's see if we can get Mike's technical difficulties done. We've all had a chance to look at the agenda. Board members, do I have a motion to move the agenda in? Let's check with Mr. King. Is there any changes to the agenda? No changes to the agenda. Board members, do you propose any changes to the agenda? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adopt the regular board meeting agenda for October 8th, 2020 as it stands?
Brandon Roque, so moved.
Kelly Jensen, second.
Thank you. Call the question.
Brandon Roque, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Board 3 ayes, board president aye, 4-0 agenda approved as presented and posted to the public on Monday evening.
There he is. There's Mike.
Was that him?
Sound check?
Yep.
Yeah, we just need to hear an aye, Mike. Loud and clear. Okay, as it stands, is there any public participation? Thank you. All right. One of my favorite people. I didn't make that comment. It's from Dawn Schneider. I want to give a huge shout out of appreciation and gratitude to all of my children's teachers. During these unusual and unprecedented times, the teachers are going above and beyond to provide meaningful instruction that is both rigorous and relevant. Thank you for all that you do. You are appreciated. Dawn Schneider, parent of a 6th, 8th, and 10th grader. Dawn, thank you for your comments and your contributions to the ADA of our school district. Is there anyone else? Hearing none. Do I have a motion to adjourn to closed session?
Tim Jorgensen moves.
Kelly Jensen, second.
Call the question.
Brandon Roque, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Board 3, Board President, aye, 4-0. We're adjourning to closed session. We're going to work to get Board Member Fox up and running where we can hear him and he can participate in the business of the district. We will adjourn the closed session. Do we finally have him here?
No, he keeps going to mute.
We do. So, folks, you can hear me on my computer and I can hear you on my phone.
Yeah, that's why we're getting the feedback. Anyway, we'll discuss that when we get to the back room. We will close, we'll adjourn to closed session at 6:38 p.m. Thank you. Public, we are going to shut down the Zoom meeting and we'll resume its connection at 7:30. Thank you.
So as you can see, they are going into closed session until 7:30. Let's hope they can fix Mike Fox's sound and the problem that he's having with the connection. Hopefully they can fix that, because the last couple of meetings it's been really difficult with his sound not working, or the sound that you hear, the feedback on his mic, no pun intended there, but the feedback coming from his computer at home is really, really bad. And just now you heard how loud it was squeaking. And when he finally was able to get on. So hopefully between the IT guys at the district and Mike Fox, they can fix that, because we really need to hear everyone and his contributions as well. So let's hope they can get that figured out before 7:30, so we don't have another meeting of high squeaky feedback. Let's hope they do a sound check before the meeting resumes, and it will go nice and smooth this evening. We're waiting for the October 8th Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District Board of Trustees meeting tonight.
All the board members in? We're good? Public in? Awesome. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular session of the October 8th meeting of the Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District. We have returned from closed session, which began at 6:30, and we will call this meeting to order at 7:39. Board Member Roque, could you give us the flag salute, please?
Of course. Everyone stand. Face the flag.
Right hand over your heart. Ready and begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll now read the district's civility statement. When conducting the district's business, we should communicate clearly and concisely with respect for the time of others, listen objectively, carefully considering the opinions of others, understand the counterproductive effects of disruptive, demeaning, and intimidating behaviors, understand and respect district policies and procedures, and maintain a respect for the rich history of the district and the efforts of others who have served in the past. Time for public comments. I have two. One was available at the 6:30 session and was read. I'll read it again now. From Dawn Schneider. I want to give a huge shout out of appreciation and gratitude to all of my children's teachers during these unusual and unprecedented times. The teachers are going above and beyond to provide meaningful instruction that is both rigorous and relevant. Thank you for all you do. You are appreciated. Again, that's from Dawn Schneider, and she lets us know that she is the parent of a 6th, 8th, and 10th grader. Next, from Andy Kendall. Our elementary school is losing a great principal this month. I believe our district should consider reassigning a person from the district office already on the payroll instead of hiring a new principal or bringing in an interim principal until COVID is over and we know what our attendance and budget will be. We could then invest that money back into our teachers and students. Thank you both for your public input. Is there anyone else? Last call. All right, we will turn to correspondence, proposals, and report. AATA representative.
Recognition.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, we have a recognition. Sorry, Melissa. Go ahead.
Thank you. So I think Kim Shaw is out there. I'd like to invite Kim Shaw, Mr. President, to share some recognitions we have. Everybody's working extremely hard. We just like to point out different folks at different times. So please know, staff, we realize everybody's working hard. But we do want to identify a couple groups tonight, and I'm going to turn it over to Kim Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. King. Good evening, board members. During this time, they were not only feeding our district children, but also children 18 years of age and under, and those persons over the age of 18 who met with the California Department of Education's definition of having a mental or physical disability. Then they thought when school resumed, things might slow down and return to somewhat normal, and they would only be serving our district students, but the food program was extended, and they had to continue serving the above named individuals. These ladies graciously and without complaint continue to come in and feed our students and others and work on holidays and go above and beyond. They exemplify our stay gold standard number 4 of student safety and connectedness. A safe and respectful environment is essential to student success. We foster a culture that promotes the emotional health, safety, and well-being of students, staff, and parents. For that, we are truly grateful. Some of them were already presented with our district's gold coins over the summer, and the remaining ladies will receive their gold coins at the upcoming food services luncheon. I'd like to introduce them to you now by name. I realize it's a little different because we're not in person, but I certainly would still like to recognize them and call them out by name. From Meadowlark, we have Alma Carson and Paula Herrera. From High Desert, we have Christina Bruce, Nancy Fox, and Alejandro Vasquez. And from Vasquez High School, we have Tammy Brooks, April Carson, and Vicki Perez. If you'd like to please join me in a little round of applause, I would appreciate that. Thank you, ladies, very much. Now, the second group of employees that I would like to recognize also fall under the direction of our Deputy Superintendent, Lynn David, but their supervisor is our Supervisor of Maintenance and Operations, Ernesto Mora. These men and women have also been working tirelessly since the students were released from attending our physical school sites back in March. They have deep cleaned, moved furniture, learned new COVID cleaning protocols, you name it, they've probably done it. Our schools continue to look fabulous and is a direct result of their dedication to providing our gold standard level of work. They have been tasked with getting all the sites up to the new COVID-19 safety standards. They've marked the floors for 6-foot distancing, installed plexiglass partitions, delivered PPE and hand sanitizer, installed new types of air conditioning filters, and the list goes on and on. They also exemplify our district's gold standard number 4, student safety and connectedness. They understand the importance of keeping our schools and the district safe and looking nice, not only for our students and staff, but for our community. They work well together and make a great team. I'd like to introduce them to you now. From Meadowlark, we have Maricela Baez and Edward Romano. From High Desert, we have Maria Gonzalez and Sage Vincent. And from Vasquez High School, we have Glenn Williamson, Jordan Schmidt, and Maria Romano. And again, please join me in a round of applause for our maintenance and operations staff. They will be receiving their gold coins on Monday, October the 19th at our maintenance and operation luncheon. Thank you very much for this time to appreciate some of our staff members. And like Mr. King's staff, all of our staffs are working very hard, but these ladies and gentlemen have certainly been working above and beyond since we've been out on our lovely COVID times. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Shaw. Mr. President, just so you know, they were all invited to tonight's Zoom, and so several of them are out there.
Good, thank you. Thank you all. This is a time where maintenance operations are prioritized and before you know it, kids will be back, trust me. Now we'll carry on with correspondence, proposals, and report. AATA representative.
Good evening.
Michelle.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Melissa Trussell, and I am the president of the Teachers Association. First of all, I would like to say thank you, Don Schneider, for your lovely comments and your encouragement. We are working every day with scholars in all levels to engage them in the learning model that we're currently in. My colleagues and I have had several trainings this week alone and over the weeks on the platforms that we're able to use in order to reach and engage our scholars. We're trying new things all the time to keep kids curious and wanting to come back for more. A lot of times they get complacent and maybe they don't really want to learn because it's a difficult learning situation. But we are trying new things, and the district has provided us with several platforms in order to keep these students engaged in the virtual world. So I do want to say that we're still here working. We're still happy to do it. We're serving our community. We love our students. Obviously, we're hoping to be back safely, but obviously, you know, that's something that we have to be patient on. Just a reminder to all the families out there that the grading period is coming up shortly, so it's very important to check on your scholars. We're putting so much in on our end, and we sure would love everybody to be successful on their end as well. So thank you, all the families. Thank you to the support staff that was just recognized. Thank you for supporting us, board members, and that's all I have. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sell, for everything you've done for my children as well as all the other children in the district and your counterparts as well. I'm going to be touching on the coverage that we got in the Antelope Valley Press during my board comments, and if you can, I would hope you'd want to hear those or see the recording later. So thank you. Good job. All right, moving on. CSEA representative. Okay, thank you for the fine job CSEA is doing. We just had a couple stellar examples of that. Student representative to the board. Good evening.
Hello all. I wanted to first off thank the teachers and the athletic coaches for all the hard work they're doing to get us back into person, and even just their handling the current online situation. It's truthfully wonderful how they're handling it, and I just want to express my gratitude. And for Vasquez, all I have to report is that the kids, the students, are ecstatic to be back into sports, and we couldn't thank you enough. That is all I have.
Thank you, sir. Superintendent report, gold standard.
Okay, I have a bit of a lengthy report this evening with regard to a COVID update, and perhaps I'll take some of these items and make them available to the public so that it's available for everyone to get updated. The first update I have is with regard to the four-tiered system, which we've been discussing at each board meeting. We've discussed two metrics, the test positivity rate and the daily case numbers. So in regard to the test positivity rate, at this point, it's I won't say very low, but lower than it's been. It's at 2.8%, which is very good. We're going in the right direction. It's actually would be in the third tier. So the tiers would be purple, red, and I think the next tier is orange. And so that would be good. However, the other criteria that they use is the number of cases that test positive per 100,000. They have an adjusted number and an unadjusted number. The unadjusted number is 9.4. The adjusted number is 7.4. The reason that you have an adjusted number is for counties where there is a large number of people being tested for COVID. The more people you test, the more positive cases you're going to see. And so for that reason, they have an adjusted number. Even with the adjusted number at 7.4, we need to get below 7 before LA County is allowed to be considered in the red stage, the next tier. So again, it would be 2 weeks of a waiting period to make sure that we stay. Both those metrics would need to be below what their criteria is. The 7 and the percentage is already well below. And then another 2 weeks in the red zone, so a total of 4 weeks before students will be allowed to return to school under the industry standard guidelines, which would mean a hybrid format. So that those days have not started counting yet, but it looks like we are getting closer towards that, which is good. In regards to new information that came out from the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health in our weekly Zoom call since the last board meeting, it is there's now site visits being done. So because the County Department of Public Health really does not get onto school campuses very often, historically, COVID has now prompted that. They need to get onto campuses and see what schools look like and that schools are adhering to the guidelines. And so we've been contacted by the LA County Department of Health. A couple of our principals have been contacted just to let them know who the staff member is that will be working with us. That staff member will be walking our campuses to ensure that we're adhering to the guidelines. We've been told that this is not a gotcha process, but a support mechanism to ensure that we're just getting what we need from the LA County Department of Health, and they will share any recommendations they have with us at that time. And of course, we will institute those remedies and make them aware that we've remedied those situations if need be. We've not received any dates yet for these visitations. Part of the visitations have to do with something you may have heard of, which is the transitional kindergarten through second grade waivers that schools may apply to. School districts can apply on behalf of a school, but a whole district may not apply for a TK through 2 waiver. Only singular schools may apply. Those would be elementary schools. So on September 29th, Board of Supervisors approved a motion made by Catherine Barger and Janice Hahn to allow waivers for students in grades TK through 2. Superintendents must submit a district waiver request to reopen for approval by the local health officer. The program is time intensive and it's not as straightforward as one might think. So let me share some of the pieces regarding this program. Some of these bullets you'll see pop up on the shared screen. The first thing, there's a cap of 30 elementary schools per week that would be allowed to be submitted. Is the county has 2 weeks to review that application. Once the county reviews the application, they will either give it back to the school district to remedy the application if it's not complete, then they'll resubmit the application. Once the application is approved by the county, they move it up to the state. Once that's okay, then you are put into essentially a waiting list, again, depending on that ranking. Once your sort of lottery slot, if you will, becomes available and you're deemed eligible, then you can have students in TK through 2 return to school under the industry standard guidelines for schools. So I know that was a lot of information. Again, I will make this information available to the public, and you know, it'll be interesting to hear if there's any board comments on that, but that ends that piece there. In terms of, I'd like to move on to the registrar's office regarding voting, which is somewhat related because now we're going to have voting at our school sites amidst the COVID environment and the same industry standard guidelines. So we will have voting at 4 sites. We'll have voting at Acton School, Meadowlark School, High Desert, and Vasquez High School. The equipment at each site will be set up and delivered on October 25th. The polls will remain open for voting at those sites October 30th through November 3rd. The district will work on providing security by an outside vendor or contractor. We only really have one person that's trained in security, that would be Guido Jaramillo. And last year, even with that, we did hire an outside vendor contractor just because of the amount of hours and time it takes to monitor those polling stations from the early mornings, approximately 6:30 each morning, till roughly 8 p.m. in the evening. So we're going to have several folks at each of the sites to have a visible security there. Our own district will be there to disinfect and clean the restrooms. However, the folks that work for the registrar's office that are hired to work the polling booths will be responsible for providing all of the industry standard guidelines, social distancing, stickers and markers on the floor, disinfecting polling booths after they're used by any citizen, and so on and so forth. The only thing we're going to be cleaning and disinfecting is the restrooms themselves, so we will have our custodial staff here for that. And that concludes that piece as far as the voting goes. And then the last piece that I'd like to share with you this evening is video, and kind of to Ms. Trussell's point, as well as Ms. Schneider's point, we are extremely proud of our teachers. And I've spoken to a couple of teachers. I know how hard you're working and truly appreciate what you are doing for our students. And with that, we'd like to share this video with you. It's approximately 6 minutes long, but felt it warranted the time.
MTV special Zoom broadcast for October 8th board meeting.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to MTV, Mustang Television. Tonight, Vasquez High School is showing a few highlights of the excellent work of our teachers and students during Semester 1 distance learning. Let's take a look.
So this is my given. Everybody understand that, right? This is what I'm looking for. So the conversion factors that will be given to you for every 12 inches, that's equal to 1 foot. That's what I'm going to give you. For every 2.54 inches, that's equal to 1 centimeter. No, for every inch, that's equal to 2.54 centimeters. That's another conversion factor I will give to you. Then I'm going to say for every 100 centimeters, that's equal to 1 meter. There's an easy way to do this, but I'll try to make a point. Okay?
This takes place obviously in 1914 on Christmas Day.
So the subject is what happened on Christmas Day in 1914. So basically, on Christmas Eve, the German soldiers came out of their trenches and they yelled Merry Christmas, because even though there's, these hard war times, they want to celebrate this Christmas. And then trust is a very important one because they are enemies and they are fighting, but they decided to put aside their differences just for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And that brings us to love, where they exchange gifts and presents.
If you would click on it because it's Christmas and it's history.
So the tone is how the author is speaking. So the attitude is very neutral in this article. So he has no bias towards Christmas, even though the article is very happy and cheerful.
And then the purpose is the speaker wanted to show that everyone is united. So even though they were enemies, they were able to put aside their differences, even if it was just for one night.
You'll see, that wasn't any ship or anything like it. It was just a meteor or something.
Go ahead, Charlie. You and Steve go into town, see if that isn't what's causing it all.
Steve and Charlie, again, walk away from the group down the sidewalk. The people watch silently. Tony stares at them, biting his lips, finally calling out again.
Mr. Brand!
The learning objectives today is that you are going to recall and use the subject pronouns and their use. Remember those subject pronouns that you're supposed to be learning? ¿Quién soy yo? Who am I? We're going to be learning about the verbo ser today. And the verb ser means to be. As we go through the lesson, I want you to think about how we use the verb to be in English and how does it compare to how it's used in Spanish. So think about the similarities between the two verbs.
Making a smoothie is really actually simple. It's pretty much just throwing everything in the blender and kind of just blending it all up and what you choose. 2.5 cups of any type of fruit, fresh fruit, frozen fruit, a combination, but it needs to be 2 to 2.5 cups. 1 cup of liquid, so this needs to be some sort of juice. Then you need to have a cup of some sort of yogurt, 1 to 1/2 cup of ice. You can always add to an ingredient, you can't take away the ingredient. The last thing is a sweetener. So you can use sugar, honey, agave. I have all of my fruit. It's gonna go right into the blender here. You add in my yogurt that I have already measured out. It's actually a strawberry yogurt. Add in my orange juice. This is a tablespoon, and I only filled it up about halfway, and there we go. I'm just going to add half of it for now. I'm going to put it in my blender top. Please make sure that it's secure on here, and your hand is always on top of the blender. Garnish. Maybe put a piece of strawberry on the side or some mint. I really hope that you guys do the same at home and have fun with this because this is your first cooking lab.
Well, that's all we have for you tonight. Thank you and right on listings.
Thank you, Vasquez High School Video Production, and that concludes Superintendent Carmen's Gold Standard Report. Thank you.
All right, moving on, are there submissions?
I think we do have a submission tonight. Yes. Shay Patterson, if you'd like to introduce our submission from Eileen. You know, it might be under Nushay with an N and E. If not, that's okay. I believe we have, is the speaker from ILEAD the representative Amanda Fisher? I'm not sure if we should unmute Amanda Fisher or Donna Avenson.
Actually, Lisa Latimer, this is Amanda Fisher, and Lisa Latimer, the school director, was going to do the submission tonight.
Sure, we can do that.
Hi, there we go. I was trying to unmute. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lisa Latimer, and I'm a school director at ILEAD Woods All-State Charter School, and I'm honored to submit this petition on behalf of the talented staff, dedicated families, and amazing learners. We are really looking forward to presenting to you at the public hearing.
Thank you very much. Is Is Dawn here tonight, or is she in Idaho or the Nubian desert or somewhere like that?
All three.
Thank you. We'll look forward to your hearing as it's scheduled at a future board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
No other submissions. All right, we'll move on to board member comments. Let's start with Mr. Fox.
Mr. President, hopefully I can be heard.
Yes.
Fantastic. I've been having some technical difficulties tonight, as you know, from earlier. First, I'd like to also extend my thanks to the classified staff that was honored tonight. We all see the teachers, but the classified staff is equally important in making sure that schools function. And it's ironic, although we're not in school, those classified staff are maintaining the facilities in our absence, and also, of course, feeding people in the community that might otherwise be hungry. And I just would like to point out that just so folks know, because it's a fairly full house, that that meals program is reimbursed by the government and is not funded by the district. I'd like to thank Ms. Trissell and the teachers, students, and families for their efforts and patience. I was grateful to see the videos, and it reinforced what Mr. Fairbank, our student rep, kind of reported. And I'm glad to hear your feedback, Kim. It is good to see the videos so that perhaps we can get a little bit better feel of what the distance learning looks like. Of course, many parents do know, because they're helping their students every day. And then I would just like to, I know this is not a discussion section, it's just board member comments, but I'd like to note that it sounded to me, Mr. King and staff, that we really were covering two areas of reopening, two separate areas of reopening discussion. One is the move to hybrid, and the other is the existing waiver process for TK through 2. And it's clear from the mathematics and our student counts on free and reduced lunch that we would be very, very near the back. But I'd like the administration to consider getting us in line at least in the coming weeks or month, such that at least we're in the line. I do think that especially for the TK to 2, grade 2, that I'm not an educator, but I imagine it's especially hard for that age group, which is why the waiver process is already in place. So that might be something to consider. With regard to waiting for the numbers on the potential move to hybrid, I'm well aware we have to wait on the numbers. When we start having those conversations, I'm curious if the county has a policy of what happens if the numbers rise back up past those okay to open thresholds as we enter flu season. Because I just would hate to see us jerk around families, move to hybrid, and then possibly move back out of hybrid. It's just something to consider as conditions change, with flu season coming on, which I'm not a health expert, but I think health experts are concerned about the COVID numbers rising up because, of course, everybody's heading back inside. So I think that particular decision space we need to be cautious with. And that was just my feedback on what I heard tonight, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Board Member Fox. Board Member Roque.
Good evening, everyone. First off, thank you to Mustang Television. That video honestly made me smile quite a bit. It's great to see our students, our teachers. It's great to see what's going on. I mean, we hear a lot about distance learning, but actually seeing it in action, seeing what's being presented, how everyone's learning, that's a big thing for us to be able to make decisions. So I can't thank you guys enough for that. Personally, I think 6 minutes might have been a little too short. I would love to see a longer thing about everything going on. And take it from someone that's made the mistake before, if you're making a smoothie, I'll make sure that lid's on tight. I've redecorated my kitchen a couple different times doing that. Beyond that, and excuse my random hand hanging out holding an ice pack. I'm recovering from shoulder surgery, so I got, long story there. Beyond that, I really just want to thank all our classified staff. It can't be understated. I mean, honestly, all of our staff is always important, but especially during a pandemic, our classified staff are doing everything to keep our students safe. In the event we go back to school, they're such a pivotal role, it's amazing. They're actually the ones that at the end of the day are the terminating factor between us actually getting into hybrid learning, getting back into the classes. So thank you so much to all of you. Thank you to everyone in our food services. You guys are providing a tremendous service to our community, feeding all of our students. You're amazing, plain and simple. Superintendent King, thank you for bringing up the information about the waivers. It's definitely something that's been a lot on my mind, and I would love to learn more about it, see more about where we can go. I understand, obviously, we're pretty far down on that list in terms of if and when we will be accepted due to our free and reduced lunch programs and our percentages there. I am really happy to say I did end up getting in contact with a board member from Lucerne Valley. For anyone that doesn't know, Lucerne Valley's actually been in school doing 2 separate cohorts for their kindergarten through 6th grade since August, I believe, 13th. And they've had no transmission of COVID-19. I've been talking to them to see if I could get a tour set up with the board member to see how they've implemented their precautions and how our district stacks up, which I'm really excited to hopefully be doing within the next week or two, just to see what steps they took and how we can mimic that in the event that we do go back to a hybrid learning program and start bringing back some of our students that need more in-person time. Beyond that, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone's staying safe, and thank you guys for coming today.
Thank you, Brandon. Coach Jorgensen.
Well, I want to start off with echoing what the district and Kim represented with regards to our classified. I can recall during the summer driving around and going by a couple of the food stops, and our employees were professional, they were safe, they were greeting everybody who was eligible to come by and get food, got the thumbs up. And so to me, in a small community, that's what makes us unique and special, is that we have that ability. So for food service, that was great. And now you get to do it again. Even though we're back in school and distance learning, we're still doing it. But they've always been there. I've enjoyed it the whole time I worked at Vasquez. The food service was the center of the campus. So thanks for food service. With regards to our classified maintenance, they're being led by an absolute top-notch maintenance man in Ernesto. I can recall him when I first started Vasquez, just getting started with the district, working his way up. And this is their training time. This is their preseason to when they do their maintenance and their sanitation of the classrooms as we use them and get prepared, getting the labels down, the directions down, so that when we do move back to hybrid and then back to full school service, that it'll be second nature to them, and our students will remain as safe as they can be. With regards to distance learning and our teachers, over the past couple of weeks, I've had the opportunity to talk with some parents and a couple of students walking down my road, and when I was out there working, and I was asking how things were going, and I have to tell you that I got a lot of compliments about the opportunities that were presented under these challenging times by our teachers. The hard work that they're putting forward, and my colleagues, who I am incredibly proud of, my former colleagues, that they are working their darndest to create an environment where our students can stay engaged as best as possible, creating little studios at home. And as I came to understand, I was really not that aware we have several of our certificated teachers that are going to the classroom, their individual classrooms, and working from there, which I think is awesome. Because I always thought, well, what I do? I'd go to my classroom. I have all my whiteboard, I have all that stuff there. And I think that's just absolutely exceptional that they have that ability and that willingness to take a break from home, go to work, go to the classroom, and present that environment to the students and help encourage our students to want to get back into the classroom. It's carried over. I work for Cal State Bakersfield helping prep new teachers. And I have to say with all pride and a lot of joy is that I continually reference what our teachers are able to do in our district, that most of my candidates are in the big districts. And I'm watching, I'm doing a lot of comparison and contrasting, and I'm picking up a couple of tips from my former colleagues and say, hey, well, try this. Well, that's a good idea. So there's a lot going on out there, and I want to compliment our teachers for their hard work. And also my students, I never stop being a teacher and a coach, and I see them out there, and I said, well, you better get back to the classroom. Your class is about ready to begin. What are you doing here walking on the road? So I'm having that, that's what we get to have in a small community, is that we all get to come together to remain safe, to have the opportunities we can have for our students, and that our parents are willing to work with that, and the patience that it takes. We know it's frustrating, we know it's challenging, and we'll keep moving forward. The pressures on our staff at the district office and the admin at the sites to make sure that all of our classified and certificate have the resources they need so they can meet the needs of our students. And us as board members and my colleagues on the board, we're just extremely proud of all our employees and excited that our students. And finally with athletics, yep, I'm glad we're back to getting some conditioning going, because I've been monitoring it and I've been checking with other districts. How you doing? What are you doing? There's a lot going on out there, but it's glad to get them out of the classroom, their rooms and their living rooms, and get them out there and start doing some conditioning so that they can get prepared, because the season's going to be condensed. It's going to be a crash season, and we need to have our student athletes that's going to contribute to their academic success as well as their athletic endeavors and their personal health. With that, thanks everybody for your hard work, and stay safe and be well.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. Kelly.
Good evening, everyone. I don't have a lot. Thank you to Mrs. Shaw for recognizing our food service maintenance custodians, our classified staff, for all that they've done. You know, it's easy when the beginning everybody was all willing to give out food, but this group has continued to feed our students every single day, and so it's been going on for months now. So a big shout out to everyone for all their efforts and for keeping our schools clean. I'd like to thank our teachers, of course, and to Mrs. Snyder actually for her kind comments, because we're in a time where a lot of people will criticize our teachers or staff for the way that everyone's handling this. This is a new situation for everyone, and our teachers have really stepped up and done a fabulous job. So I just want to thank everyone for their comments and recognizing the hard work our staff has done. So thank you, and I would like to thank them personally as well. And then of course the MTV, boy, that brought back memories for those of you that are as old as I am, a new MTV. So I loved that, and I agree with Brandon. I think it could have been even longer. That's, you know, we don't want to make it too long, of course, but I thought it was, that was fast to 6 minutes for me. I love seeing what's going on in the classrooms, and so thank you, Mr. King, for sharing that with us, and for everyone that put that together, our talented teachers and our students. That's really all I have for this evening, and just a big shout out to everyone, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly. Here are my comments. Thanks to the public for reaching out with your feelings on things, and I want to add to that by telling you that each year the board receives an email from parent Sandy Fosberg reminding us that October is Dyslexia Awareness Month. Her email to the board this year offered some statistics and strategies about dyslexia. This is something that affects a lot of people, and I would suggest you contact Sandy for that information, or just ask me to share my copy by email as a matter of public record. In addition to dyslexia, October is Awareness Month for autism and Down syndrome, both which impact the educations of many children as well. We also have I'm getting tracked here. I can't even read my own writing, but if you have an awareness that you would like the board to announce, please contact the district office each month and let us know about that. And let's raise awareness for a number of things, because come May, I will be calling for Community Delaying Awareness Month. I'll be bringing attention to that. So please feel free. Sandy, thank you for your email. It was well written and very informative, and I always look forward to your input. Okay, the next thing, grab your pencils, remembering the things that take place back there, and seeing I'm pointing to the closed session area, including personnel matters, student matters, labor negotiations, legal matters, cannot be spoken of out here. But remembering that I'm always a supporter of transparency and the public's right to know, I will tell you this: if you have even the remotest interest in the district's financial outlook, again, grab your pencil. You're going to want to be intimately familiar with San Diego County Court's case number SCD 266439. One more time, SDC 266439. I also have a comment on the waiver issue. Sit down and grab some popcorn. Things are not always as they seem in politically driven headlines. The headline seems to indicate that there is light approaching at the end of the tunnel. So if I'm sitting here as a parent, depending on my child's educational or athletic performance as a means of helping get into a college by way of a scholarship, this whole thing has debilitated me from the beginning of number one, we can't practice as a team, we can't condition the way we normally do, and we don't have the normal interaction on campus with students that collaborate with each other to perform at a higher level. It's very difficult to have labs and stuff that some of these higher science classes depend on. So when somebody gets on the television and tells me in the interest of politics that yeah, we're going to do this, there's waivers. Well, in reality, this waiver program is a K through 2 program. I don't think that 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade football players are in K2. And worse than that, this program is targeted to impact, as it rightly should, those people who are most at risk, which are historically the Title I kids, the economically challenged kids. That's who gets free and reduced lunch. And because those kids tend to occur in populations in geographic clusters, they'll be the first ones on the list. And as Mr. King calmly suggested, it will take you the time to put the application together. It will take 2 weeks to look at the application, and then it's kicked back to you. If there's anything not right, then they look at it again, it goes to the state. And I'm 60 years old today, and it sounds to me like my Social Security check will get here before the first people get back to the classroom, much less anyone else. And the worst part about this is we see the headline, we get excited, we have our own personal goals, our personal interests, but we don't get to the fine details. And the lack of those fine details, understanding those fine details, often puts people's frustrations back to the local administrators, who are really at the whim of the policy that's going on, that's being made above them. So if I'm a politician in the headlines breaking the news, when reality hits, I can always say, you know what, I tried, I have your best intentions in mind. But in reality, nothing happens, and you are doing nothing but breaking down local confidence that the residents and the people that we service at our level have to face and say, you know, we don't like to hand out excuses. So if you're going to get on television, you're going to talk about what it is you're going to do, then at least make sure that everybody has a chance to have that happen. Again, I don't want to besmirch people, and it actually bothers me very much that what are the historically Title I people, again, we're calling attention to make sure that everyone knows that those people need help more than everyone else. So if that was the goal, you did really good there, whoever the commissioner is for this area, whatever your title is. So moving on, press coverage. Well, I love this. Julie Drake. Why am I saying Nancy Drake? I've got the Hardy Boys on my mind or something. Anyway, the mystery of the dropping ADA. Julie Drake, in the Antelope Valley Press, you did a great article. There's Miss Woolman right on the front page of the Antelope Valley Press. And Julie covered some of the district's technology innovations in support of district learning. And to me, this is regional coverage where somebody, Julie Drake understands education. It's her focus in journalism. She goes to all these other board meetings. And I thought it was incredible that she talked about some of the things that our teachers are doing. And as Tim said, you pick up the newspaper, you pick up the phone, you find out what people are doing. This is all new territory. But I'm really, really tired of the criticism. And of course you have suffering ADA bleed off. Everyone is having that right now. People are volatile. But I really want to say, you know, sometimes people don't want to get on television or in the newspapers, but I want to give kudos to Lori Woolman, Kelly Sutliff, Ted Pelham, Chip Kralik, and Alexa Leff. You were all in here. You had some things to say, and you represented the district really well, and there was substance to what you were saying. And to the administration that brings us technologies that promote this kind of innovation, I think we had this Nearpod thing. I'm just up here. I don't know what it is. It apparently lets you take different programs and put them together instead of having this piecemeal thing. And if it's good enough to get regional coverage like this and represent our district well and give our teachers a regional voice to say that we matter here in our little school district, then it's good enough for me. And this is the type of thing that makes me proud that I sit up here. So good job, guys. And administrators, thank you for having the courage to bring forward stuff to the board and just say, hey, let's get this working here. Let's give this a try. And anyway, I'm very impressed with this. Thanks, guys. That's all I have to see. Oh, one more thing. My psychic says that you all should watch the Santa Clarita Valley Signal this Sunday. That's all I have. All right, we're going to move on to the consent agenda, and that is, I'll read these off very quickly so we can decide whether we want to break this out or not. We've got the minutes of the virtual regular board meeting of 9/24/2020, the warrant register, which are the district's purchases, the personnel action report. Did I miss anything? No, the personnel action report, the Williams lawsuit settlement first quarter report on uniform complaints 2021, the Elmo STEM CAM document camera. I think that's probably something that floats in here with everybody being in the regional newspaper. Board, is there anything on there you would like to pull off individually?
Mr. President, there's nothing I want to pull off. I just have just two quick questions.
Okay, so first, a matter of business, nothing's going to be pulled off. So we will move to consider the consent calendar the consent agenda as it sits. Who wants to move that in?
This is Mike Fox. Mike Fox will second.
Okay. Before we call the question, Callie.
I just have two quick questions, just for my own wondering. On the warrant register, I see Renaissance Learning for High Desert, and I'm just wondering. I just want to see what program it is. If that's a STAR assessment or is that AR reading?
Can I ask Kim Shaw if you can speak to that? If not, perhaps our school principal could.
I can answer that. This is Kim. That is for accelerated readers so that the students are able to take the STAR assessment.
Oh, okay, thank you. And while I have you, Mrs. Shaw, maybe you could answer this next question for me. On the document cameras, I could be just going old school, but I'm assuming they can upload things from the web, not just actually putting a document under that camera.
Right, they're not like the old ones that you and I might be used to, where you put paper under. The teachers will be able to go on the web and access apps and use Wi-Fi. And once we come back on to campuses, they're wireless, so they'll be able to walk around the classroom. They wouldn't be tethered to the machine. They'll be able to engage students from anywhere in the classroom.
Excellent. I mean, I don't want to insult you, Mrs. Shaw, or Nick Holchung. I assumed that was the situation, but I just wanted to make sure. I think it was the name Elmo that got me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's all my questions.
Well, Kelly cracked a funny. Let us call the question now then.
Mike Fox, aye.
Brandon Roque, aye.
David Jorgensen, aye.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Board 4 ayes.
And Tara Childress will be available for any questions.
Tell me that name of the presenter again. Is it Julie Berry, did she say?
The name is Michelle Berry.
Michelle Berry, okay. There you go.
Can you bring Mr. Martineau up for a second? Good evening, sir. Martineau, yes. Jeff Martineau.
Good evening.
Good evening. We've missed you. I mean, I had you here for 3 years in a row or so. Just so you know what's coming from me, once you're done with your presentation, I'm going to want you to walk through each one of the particulars of your material revision in specific and give me the quick down and dirty details of exactly what those mean, and that will be the extent of my question, so you can prepare for that. I prefer to hear that from you. Thank you.
Okay, I will do my best. Thank you, Ken.
All righty, we're ready for the presentation. I'm going to start the timer once someone tells us who they are, and when we start to get into the meat and potatoes of what's happening.
Hello everyone. We can advance the slide to the presentation. That would be great.
All right, if you're ready, your time will start now.
Perfect, thank you. Good evening, Board of Trustees and Superintendent King. Next slide, please. My name is Michelle Berry, and I'm the Area Superintendent for Assurance Learning Academy. The purpose of this material revision is to request Acton Dulce Unified School District approval for Assurance Learning Academy to relocate a few of our centers. Next slide. And the first location change is moving our Winnetka location to Canoga Park, which is pictured here. The Winnetka site is a co-location with our WIOA partner, El Proyecto del Barrio. Due to an increase in demand for health services during the pandemic, El Proyecto del Barrio needed to expand their community health center they run on the first floor of the building. This required them to move their WIOA services to their Canoga Park location, and they asked that we move with them to continue our collaborative case management for students. Next slide. The next location change is for the Van Nuys location. We were co-located with Casa Loma College. Due to social distancing guidelines, the college needs the rooms we've been occupying to continue their program. We were very fortunate to find a relocation that is less than a mile from the current resource center, so we can continue to serve our students with minimal impact to their transportation. Here's a picture of the new building and a couple of our seniors graduating COVID style. Next slide, please. The last major change in the petition is regarding our Southgate location, and due to unforeseen city building requirements significantly impacting the tenant improvement budget and the overall timeline, we have decided not to open this resource center. Next slide. Assurance Learning Academy continues its strong collaborative relationship with our WheelOak partners to ensure that our students have meaningful preparation for their lives after graduation. Every resource center has a minimum of one WheelOak partner to support their student community through a process of curriculum review, case management, and job readiness training. Next slide. And our students are not the only ones benefiting from our symbiotic relationship with our community partners. The entire community benefits. From our community resource fairs to our partnership workshops, we are working to build stronger communities through education and increase access to services. And don't worry, these pictures were pre-COVID, so we're not hanging out without masks anymore, but we're connecting virtually now. And next slide. And at Assurance Learning Academy, we have a tradition of ringing a bell every time a student earns their diploma. It is a moment of celebration you can hear throughout the center. We look forward to many years of bell ringing with the support of the Acton Aadusd Unified School District. Thank you for your time and your ongoing support.
That concludes your presentation.
Yes, it does.
Thank you very much. Let's start with Mr. Fox, please.
There's no questions. That's all fairly, very self-explanatory. Thank you very much. Very clear.
Thank you. Brandon.
I'm in about the same position. It's a material revision specifically for locations. So it's all pretty straightforward. Thank you for clarifying about the third location. Yeah, I have nothing. Thank you.
Coach Jorgensen.
On the south, I think it was, you said the third location, the Southgate, it is not open due to, what was, I didn't hear that.
So due to the timelines and some of the improvements that needed to happen to the center to make it ready for our students, it just wasn't cost effective, and so we decided not to open that location.
So you're removing it from the revision?
Correct.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. That's all I had. Thank you.
Vice President Johnson.
No, thank you. The presentation was very well done, so I think it's straightforward, so thank you for that. And I do love, I just have to make a comment, I do love the bell ringing tradition. So thank you so much.
Okay, my turn. Mr. Martin, now it appears that it won't be necessary for you to run through those things because your staff is already prepared. I like that read into the record. I do have the following request. I am very interested in understanding when we come back to report out, staff can tell us what the current position controls look like on the oversight of this charter. So that's a basic breakdown of what effort staff puts into the oversight of this group of charters. If the material revision is going to result in any fluctuations on those position controls, I think that's pretty basic. I'd like council to look at each and comment on each plank of the revision, the suggested revisions, and I think that the WheelOak partners explanation is pretty self-explanatory, but especially at this time when the constitution of this board may change, I want to make sure that everybody is informed at the next meeting as to what oversight looks like and how accountabilities are held. So thank you. Other than that, I have absolutely nothing.
Board member Falsterdaff and board members, Superintendent King, I want to thank you for your thorough oversight. We certainly appreciate collaborating with you guys and working with you guys, and it's truly a good relationship. And I look forward when I can take my Thursday drives down there and attend board meetings in person again. But thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That concludes this. I love this. I threatened everybody, the attorney wanted to know all the numbers, and you guys still have 8 minutes and 4 seconds left. This is the way work is done. Thank you very much. It looks to me like we're at item 10, future agenda items.
I just have one to add. I think we've already outlined for future agenda items the upcoming charter pieces, but I think that we asked the board if they'd like to hear an update regarding athletics, so I think it's a good time of year to do that. So I think the board can anticipate at the next board meeting a brief update on what's happening in athletics at the high school.
Is there a way that, I would hope I'd have the board's support in this, if there is a way that we can do an all call to let people know that there would be an update on athletics, and that we could work that into the meeting possibly under the superintendent gold standard report, so that way people can get in and out of the meeting and hear what they need to hear about sports. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, hearing nothing. Other than that, we have career development, science textbook adoption, health textbook adoption. That last one, I can't wait to discuss that when it finally comes forward, if it were to come forward. Okay, calendar, I'm showing a meeting on October 29th and one on November 12th. Board, is there any conflicts that you have where we would not have a quorum for those meetings? Hearing none, that is our calendar.
President King, or President Holzgraf. Just a clarifying question, wouldn't the fourth Thursday be the 22nd, not the 29th?
Yes. Perfect, thank you.
No problem.
So no conflicts. I'll have to see if I can create some. Closed session, there's absolutely nothing to report from closed session tonight, which brings us to my favorite, tab 13, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting at 8:52?
This is Kelly, so moved.
Brandon Roque, second.
Call the question.
Mike Fox, aye.
Brandon Roque, aye.
Ted Jorgensen, aye.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Board 4 ayes, board president aye, 5-0. This meeting is over. Thanks to everyone that participated and spent your evening with us.